I was a happy kid. I played sports at a young age. I was throwing a baseball at 90 miles an hour when I was like 14. And I played everything, football, basketball, baseball, all around.
My daughter, Lachelle, loved her big brother, followed him around, did whatever he did, you know.
My brother was the star. He was the one that had all the attention.
Me and my dad clashed and bumped heads, and I went to live with him in South Jersey, and he started hitting me.
The school noticed the marks on my brother's body, and I just felt really, really bad for him.
You know, I noticed things that had changed with him and his happy personality.
I graduated in June of 1988, and my son was born in July. Being a young father, I was struggling between trying to be a good boyfriend and father as to being a friend to my friends and still being a young man in the streets and trying to have fun. So that was where the tug of war started.
I would try to talk to him and, you know, what's going on, what you doing, and it was downhill, big time.
I actually got caught with some heroin and I went to prison. I went to Annandale Correctional Facility for a year.
I hated him for not being there. Like, my feelings were hurt, they were crushed, I was disappointed, I was depressed, I was all that in one.
He came to the door at my sister's house. I didn't know my child. He was so thin and gray looking that it took my breath away.
I can look at pictures right now and I'm like, I don't know how you were walking around.
When you don't hear from somebody for days, months, weeks at a time, you don't know if they're in jail. Like, I went through times where I'm like, I haven't heard from my dad. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know where he's at.
I went to the hospital and there was a peer recovery specialist named Nick who came to see me. He was like, listen, man, we found, heroin in your system. Do you think you want to get help? And that's when I really had to contemplate, how well do I want to get and how bad do I want to get it? And on January 19, 2019, I ended up at the Market Street Mission.
Marcel was constantly smiling, and he was always in an upbeat, mood. And people were just drawn to him. The more that I started talking to him, the more I started realizing that this man wants to change his life and he wants to see Christ.
If they get the foundation right in Christ and they have that heart transformation, then they want to do all the other things because it's not coming from a behavioral change or fear. It's coming from real transformation that comes from the heart.
Pastor P saw leadership qualities in me. He would hear how I was a motivator, and he asked me one day if he could mentor me, and I took him up on it.
He gives me hope because I see him working towards the transformation of others, and that is a flow-through process.
Had Marcel not found Market Street, I don't think he'd be alive.
He's excited to get up and do things and actually have a purpose in life.
The mission has provided me with my certification in being a peer recovery specialist. I come back, I volunteer, I run a gym here. I manage what they call True Strength. And I started a podcast a month ago with my mentor, Martin. So I'm doing it.
To see him now, opposed to 10 years ago, that's my child. I don't know who that other person was, but this is definitely my child.
Today, he is the brother I knew when I was little. He's just as popular. He's a shining light. I just am so incredibly proud of him.
It gives me an immense amount of joy to see the way his family life has been restored by Christ.
I'm proud of you. Wow. We deal with the God that deals with restoration no matter how far, how long, how deep your mess is, you can always come out of it. And this is a prime example.